So the first thing I'm going to talk about is in a lot of detail, but when I talk about community and talk about the Puppet community, I really am talking about a very broad group of people. So I'm talking about everybody who does something with Puppet as part of the community, whether you're a vendor, whether you're just using Puppet, whether you're a developer who's writing modules, contributing directly to the product. I consider Adrian and Andy part of the community. I consider myself part of the community. So when I talk about community throughout this whole lightning talk, that's what I'm talking about. We also have community guidelines and code of conduct, although for the most part, to be honest, so I've managed a lot of open source communities over the years, and this is by far the nicest one. Truly, like, these people are really, they're nice to each other. They answer each other's questions with, you know, a minimal amount of snark. I mean, it is a developer community after all. You do end up with some of that, but really, genuinely, like, really nice people. Big change from the others I've managed. It's quite nice. We do have guidelines, code of conduct. We have it for events. We have it for all kinds of stuff, different tools. It's kind of a great place to point people who haven't done a lot of contributing to open source communities in the past, because it also runs through like standard mailing list protocol, IRC protocol, that sort of thing. So people who are new to open source and new to participating in communities, this is also a good place to kind of get them started. One of the interesting things, and this is true for almost every open source community, is we have all kinds of tools and all sorts of places where you can participate. We have user groups, we have code up on GitHub, we have a conference, we have, there's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Puppet Camps, Bug Tracker, and Redmine. We have Google Groups, which are essentially our mailing lists. IRC channel, Puppet Forge for modules. We have Puppet Ask, which we talked about earlier in Andy's presentation, which is a new kind of Stack Overflow sort of Q&A site, which is pretty cool, and I don't say that just because I launched it. But this is sort of what it looks like. You can see it's very, very Stack Overflow-like, questions, answers, quotes, that sort of thing. We also have Puppet user groups. We have a lot of these starting to spring up around the world. Some of the newer ones, there's a new one in Belgium that just started when I was there in April. There's another one that started in Utrecht in the Netherlands in April. We're starting the Portland user group, so that's going to start. Our first meetings on May 6th. I would love to have one here in Austin. We really need someone local to start it, so if anybody's interested, I'm happy to talk to you about resources for starting a user group. We'd love to have one here in Austin. So think about that. If you feel like me, you just kind of start user groups for fun. Cool thing to do. One of the big focus areas that I've had since I joined Puppet is to do what I can to make it easier for people to contribute to Puppet. So one of the things we've implemented is a trivial patch exemption. So if you're fixing some white space, typos, things like that, you don't need to have a contributor license agreement. So we lower the bar for the trivial stuff. We also put in place a better contributor license agreement app, which makes it a whole lot easier for our developers to see who has and hasn't signed one. And it's also a super easy click through, so you can sign it yourself. And it's tied directly to the GitHub accounts, so it makes it really easy. It actually drops a comment onto pull requests that says this person signed the CLA on a certain date. So it makes it super easy for us to tell who has and who hasn't when you're contributing to the product. We have a lot of contributors. It's interesting, you see this is over the past year. This is last February through February. It's not up to date exactly. And Luke, of course, wins for contributors all time. Put him up at the top. He's our CEO, those who don't know that. I have a lot of plans for 2013. I want to make the metrics better. I launched the CLA app. I actually want to do a unified login and profile so that you have kind of the same login and a profile that shows what you're doing across all of these different community properties. That's one of my goals. Doing a bunch of Puppet camps, trying to convince people to start user groups, that sort of thing. Lots and lots and lots of ways to contribute. So you don't necessarily have to be a hardcore like Ruby person to contribute to Puppet. You can help with docs. Lauren appreciates that, for example. She's a lot of our documentation. You can answer questions on Ask on the mailing list. Do bug triage, we love that. I actually think we're going to do a triage-a-thon that'll be hosted in Portland, but also remote participation over IRC. So if you're looking for a place to participate, we should be announcing that in the next few weeks. You can contribute code, standard stuff, actually put your modules on Forge. That's awesome. And we do hire a lot of people in the community, and we're hiring just like everybody else in the world. You can learn more, figure out all the stuff. Also, if I talk about something online. We don't make any secrets out of the community stuff. The metrics are posted publicly on the community. You can get all the talks from past puppet camps, so that's actually a great way if you're looking for something specific. You can see all the talks that were in Amsterdam and London and Stockholm and all the places we've done puppet camps this year. All those slides are up online, so it's a great place to go on the puppet camp page. That's it. Lots of various ways to contact me. And with that, I think I will turn it over to Judd, who's our next presenter.